All right. So we are going to look at in a second, but the question posed is, what the hell happened to Edenia? Right? I found an old thread by John Tobias. This thread alone is one of the reasons why I miss this dude actually being forefront writer. I need to fire the current writer and actually do something decent. Right? Stop listening to Twitter for advice and, input on how to make, storylines. So there's no mention of Edenia anywhere, right? I have read one thing before that maybe Edenia is the name of a city, on Outworld, right? Or it could be another part of the land on Outworld, so different continent, but Outworld is the realm, right? Anyway, I came across this. John Tobias, great question in regards to the realms of parallel universes, right? So once merged, the entire universe is merged, or just a single planet. Our realm has billions of galaxies, blah, 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 blah. Great question. When creating MK, a multi-realm concept established the fabric of its universe. Open your third eye if you have one and join me as I expose my inner darkness of dimensions. So let's go. The inception of Mortal Kombat's fiction began with creating a reason for fighters to kick the crap out of each other. Our characters could have been kicking the crap out of each other for all kinds of reasons, but we chose to structure our story around a tournament that decides the fate of the world. God, I miss that focus. Seems like an obvious choice, right? Think of all those stories that could have involved a tournament where losing had literal apocalyptic consequences, not all that many. MK had lots of surface level influences in its creation that any part-time lore expert can point to. This is not one of them. Our choice to build MK's universe around a world-ending tournament triggered a series of questions. Our answers to those questions are what made MK's fiction unique and what led us to the concept of a multi-realm universe. Why realms? This is awesome. Because we wanted MK's underlying themes to be steeped in esoteric mysticism and the Eastern concept of furies, and the consequences of unbalancing them was spiritual in nature. So if there was an other world with designs on our world, the idea was that they could cross planes of existence to get here. Their ability to open that gateway was spiritual, not physical. Magic, not science. In MK's universe, we lived in a realm, not on a planet, and humanity's ignorance of that reality exposed its immaturity as a spiritually enlightened civilization, which is why Raiden had to handhold us. Boy, have I got something to blow your mind after this. MK's invaders, you know what? I think I know one of the main reasons why I have loved Mortal Kombat this whole time. MK's invaders could have been cosmic. They could have come in spaceships from another planet or somewhere else in space. But that's a very different story with a very different vibe, and that is a choice that we chose not to make. Thank God. Thank God. Right? So I always saw a realm as a spiritual reality as much as a physical place. Whether it's Outworld or Netherrealm or Earth, they all existed on parallel planes, the physical manifestations being the world we know and can comprehend. But it's the spiritual manifestation that makes the chaotic conversions to the physical realms possible. And when physical realms merge, realities merge because on parallel planes of existence, Earth is Outworld and Outworld is Earth. That merging includes our perception of planets and the infinite cosmos beyond. And if you haven't grown that third eye yet, I suggest you burn some incense and read through the above again. This part in particular is what just got to me. For the longest time, many civilizations, in fact all, at one point, up until only the last, under the century time frame, believed that the world that we live in was not round, but flat. I'm a Christian. I'm a biblical Christian. I believe in what the Bible says. I also believe that what we and where we are told is not true. I'm not going to make excuses or feel ashamed for admitting that this statement right here that John Tobias makes me believe that this is the basis of, you know, why we have the different realms and they were never referred to as planets. Right? Now, you can look at this a couple of ways. If you're a believer of faith like I am, you believe that there is, you know, a place called hell, a place called heaven. We literally have hell, right? I'm assuming that is what is called the nether realm, you know, literally. I know they do mention hell in some story, but the nether realm is essentially hell, okay? That is a realm. It's a plane of existence outside of our current plane, but it's not a planet. It's not a separate rock that we travel to. Think of it like multiple levels in one building. We are in one building, but multiple levels in that building. We live on one, there's other ones you can travel to, and whatnot. That's how it works, right? So the idea, biblically, is that, you know, we don't live on a round ball. We live, right? And that there could be other land masses outside of our current knowing of the world. Or, if you will, other realms. Right? I love this. This is biblical. Right? This is absolutely biblical. Whether it's Christian biblical, I don't know what his beliefs are, whether it's believing in another faith, it's realizing that, you know, we, you know, like we have been taught that, oh, you know, aliens exist and all this sort of stuff, right? But but what he's saying in the Mortal Kombat universe isn't that there is another planet we travel to. It's literally stepping through this spiritual barrier to another place of existence. Okay? Think of it like, if anyone's read Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe, Narnia, traveling through the wardrobe, you're not going to another planet. It's another realm. Okay? It's another realm that you go to. Now, I want to show you this picture, because this is the best thing I can show you to kind of give you an idea, right? So if you're into going down these rabbit holes, the FE, the flat, right? One of the theories is that we are in the center. Our world is in the center, right? It's not flat like a pancake, you know, like in that regard. Like, I mean, you know, if you walk through your house, you're not going up and down like this. It's still flat, but you can't see through it on another room because there's something in the way, right? So, what if these outside areas that you can see outside of the inner ice wall are other lands? This is precisely what John Tobias, in a sort of more physical map that I can show you, is referencing, right? We can't travel there because we don't have access to, we don't have the right key for their lock, but they're still there, right? It's not another planet, it's still within the universe, within our universe. And people, and this is what we've been taught, oh, well, our universe is like infinite, we look up and there's billions of stars, billions of planets, billions of solar systems, like we're just this, with nothingness, we're just nothing. I don't agree with that. As a Christian, I don't agree with that. We're all special, we're all meant to be here. I prefer to think like that and be wrong than live a life of misery thinking I'm a piece of dust that's going to just waste away and be nothing. It's just how I feel, right? You have your beliefs and I have mine. Now, going back to this statement, right? So, our world is being heavily referenced in this new timeline, okay? In the old timeline, some stories were saying, oh, this is Edenia, then it became Outworld, because Outworld then merged with it. So the realm literally infected, or not infected, but basically like they merged, like they literally like squished together, you know, and that's why Outworld became Outworld in this wasteland. However, there's lots of references too to being Outworld being a beautiful place, and then Shao Kahn invaded or whatever, and then blew it all up. In this storyline in MK1, it seems like they are going to just, you know, take over. It seems anyway, because of the fact that it looks like Melina, which is the princess of Outworld, is corrupted and the throne is in jeopardy. So it's interesting. It's really interesting. This really stuck out to me, and of course the before and after, where it's if you're a Marvel fan, think of like Doctor Strange, where you can go through, you know, forgetting the infinite universes, but like literally a spiritual plane, right? A spiritual plane, right? It'd be like going to heaven or going to hell. You know, it's not a planet. It's not another planet. It's a spiritual. You're traveling spiritually to another place of existence, right? That you just can't see until you actually get there, right? So there's also just to finalize, because like this is all very, very interesting. I do love all of this sort of stuff. If you're a biblical person, they a lot of discussion on the fact that we, you know, and they've sort of referenced things over the years with certain things like that. But that there are many layers above us, if you will. Right? Before anyone thinks I'm crazy, if you think we came from nothing to something, and our ancestors are guppies, like fish, we don't need to have conversation. That's ridiculous, right? Now, I want to show you this picture, because this also, like when you think of it from a biblical point of view, and adding on to what John Tobias is saying, this kind of also is pretty groovy in itself. So when you consider the multiple levels of heaven, right? And the throne of God at the top, each level is a different plane of existence. It's not another planet, it's a different plane of existence. In Mortal Kombat terms, you could have Order Realm, Chaos Realm, Earth Realm, Nether Realm, Outworld, which should Outrealm. That'd be kind of cool if they changed that, right? And it's interesting too, because like there always has to be a balance. There always has to be a balance. We've got to have the Order Realm versus the Chaos Realm, right? And that's, I think that is that only the 6 realms. You've got Earth Realm, Nether Realm, Outworld, or Edenia. So Edenia could be the polar opposite of Netherrealm. Edenia could be heaven. It could be the literal, like the most perfect place you could visit. The heaven realm, if you will. Netherrealm is the hell realm. The complete opposite to that. So going back to what John Tobias was saying, hang on. I love this. I'm going to post a link in the description for this for you guys to go to read. Right? So, as I always saw a realm as a spiritual reality as much as a physical place, whether it's Outworld or Netherrealm or Earth. They all exist on a parallel planes, the physical manifestations being the world we know and can comprehend. This is why, again, going back to the statement in MK's universe, we lived in a realm, not on a planet, and humanity's ignorance of that reality exposed its immaturity as a spiritually enlightened civilization. I love this dude. This dude gets me, right? I get it. That is perfect. And it's probably the main reason why I fell in love without even realizing it with Mortal Kombat. This right here, this is biblical, right? This is that. So when they talk about the MK universe, right? That's it. Now, in MK1's case, we are looking at a situation where both the timelines were correct, right? So now we've got this like split, and then sort of going up in this direction where Shang Tsung won this one, Liu Kang won this one, and the convergence here is where they split, and then they're sort of traveling, and then Shang Tsung apparently invades, right? It's going to be interesting to see whether this concept of how they created the MK-verse is actually going to be fully implemented in this new timeline. That is exciting to me, and I think that's very cool if they do that. Anyway, guys, catch you next time.